Welcome everybody back to another episode of Major Money. And this is, as always, our Flex Friday. So we give you picks that we also use. So we're not just giving you picks that we don't use, but we actually play our picks. And that was a great thing for Ross. And I hope y'all tailed Ross last week because boy, was he on fire. Let's pull up the stats right here. Ross last episode went 3-0. Obviously, that's what we're going for every single time. I went 1-2, not so great. That brings my record to 5-4 since we started keeping track on Fridays. Ross jumped me. It went from 3-3 all the way up to 6-3. So Ross takes the lead in our one-on-one battle. But important note, I did go 1-2. That one I hit was my family play. So I did clutch up there at least. At least I did that. We hit yet another family play. We just 3 weeks ago started the count, but before then we were on a hot streak too. We have really been killing family plays, and that was the worst part of Major Money for the longest time. Brought in Ross, Sean got kicked out, brought in Ross. We start hitting family plays like crazy. We're obviously aiming to do that today. But before we get into our picks, we have three very special things to talk about. One, as always, you see it right in the middle of your screen. Play $5, get $50 instantly if you use the code 5. When me and Ross tweet out our picks and our family play at the end of today's episode, we will include a link that all you have to do is click it, and then it'll immediately add that in. You can use this in most states, even if it's arena play, for example, like Florida. I know a lot of y'all are from Florida. So if you think, I can't use PrizePicks in Florida, you actually can. It was just for a little bit, and it's back now. And you can play arena, which this code works for as well. And then you can kind of see it a little bit on the screen. They just dropped a Tyreek Hill for all of our Miami fans. Tyreek Hill, free square. You have 6 days a week to use it. All he has to do is get one receiving yard, and we obviously know Tyreek's going to do that. He got close on October 20th. He got close to not hitting that, and November 11th, but obviously he's going to hit one receiving yard. There's no way Tua is going to let Tyreek not get a single catch. Then a very surprise discount, and they've been doing several of these for the NBA recently. DeMar DeRozan over 16.5 points, down from his original projection of 20.5, so you get 4 points of value there. And there you can see the stats of it. DeMar DeRozan getting a discounted square. Of note, you cannot pair both discounted squares together, so you do have to choose one or the other. But when you do that, use the code 5, play $5, get $50 in promo funds instantly. There is not a better deal in sports betting. Free value is free value, and we got a lot of that on the PrizePicks board today. So, Ross, without further ado, you're looking for back-to-back 3-0, back-to-back family plays, keeping that streak alive. What is your family play today?
All right, so I've kind of been riding this guy for a while now, and I mean there's a reason for it. I mean, he is playing incredible basketball. He didn't play incredible basketball during the summer, but we all knew he was going to come in this season with a purpose, and I feel like he's definitely come out and done a lot this season for the Celtics. I'm going Jason Tatum, but I'm not taking his points, and so I kind of sometimes watch Celtics games. I'm from Mass, so I got a lot of Boston fans that are friends, or a lot of Boston friends that are fans, and it's almost like when they play these lower end teams, I don't know if he just becomes super passive and he doesn't want to shoot the ball as much, or he's not effective early on and he just goes to go and rebound and assist the ball. But sometimes he doesn't go and shoot the basketball as often, especially against these lower teams. I don't know if he's trying to help his teammates stat pad or do whatever he does. He's still going to go and get his 20, 25, 30, but he's not going to go out and chuck the ball up a bunch of times, especially if they're killing the Wizards. So they play the Wizards tonight. It is the in-season tournament, so the games are, I feel like, a little bit more impactful, and I feel like guys step it up a lot. So I'm going with Jason Tatum's over rebounds and assists. So he's hit this in 4 out of the last 5. Out of his last 6 games, or excuse me, out of his last 5 games, he's had double-digit rebounds. One of his games this season, he's also had 10 assists in the past 5, and then he's also in the past 5 had 8 assists and 9 assists. So he's really coming close to that number every time. He's exceeding it 4 out of the last 5. I think the Celtics are going to roll this team. The only issue I have is if they blow them out. But again, like I said, I've watched a lot of the games. They almost lost to Atlanta. They have these close battles every time they play these lower end teams. So they might not blow them out. This is one of those games that Boston might keep very close. And I think that Tatum will play a lot of minutes. Obviously, give me his over of rebounds and assists.
Yeah, and to your point though, with the in-season tournament, like how much you win by point differential matters if you're tied in record with someone. And a lot of people aren't used to that. It's more of a soccer thing. So there have been times at end of games, even at, where you typically take out your starters, the starters are still in there getting a little bit of extra points. Now, the Celtics, they win a lot of games, so they're not as worried about that. But I believe the Cavs are in there in-season tournament. So it could come down to it. So Jason Tatum might get more minutes than you would typically think of in a regular season match with the Washington Wizards. And I'm going to do a major money first, to my knowledge, unless I'm forgetting. I'm actually going to do a college basketball pick. College basketball is finally back. And as a big North Carolina fan, I am very, very happy. But I'm kind of going against my school right here. And actually, I'm taking the most popular college basketball pick on the board. You can see it right there. Most popular by a wide margin. And I think there's very good reason for this. Cooper Flag, over 11 rebounds and assists. So our family play is going to be a combined of rebounds and assists here. But if you start looking at his numbers, there's no way it should be this low. He averages over 9 rebounds a game, over 4 assists a game. In the 4 games, he's had 2 games of 11 rebounds alone. Last game, I believe he had 9 rebounds and 6 assists. Yeah. And I mean, he's just doing this against everyone. I think this is kind of what I was talking about earlier in episodes of Major Money for NBA. They kind of haven't caught on to some of these things. And I think this is kind of one that is. And it's the most popular play, and it just ticked up to 20,000. But when you compare that to NFL or NBA, for example, NBA's most popular play, 132,000. Even though it's really popular, compared to other sports, it's not getting as much love. So I think you can kind of find good value for longer. So over 11 rebounds and assists. They're playing Arizona. Arizona hasn't been as good as a lot of us thought they would be, but they're led by former Tar Heel great. Hit a massive shot against Duke, if anyone remembers a Final Four game between the two. And so he loves playing Duke, man. He loves it. So he might come in, and it might be a close game to where Flag kind of really has to step it up. But Flag is a very versatile player. I think he will hit this with relative ease because I think it will be a close game and he'll play a lot of minutes here. So I love this line of 11 rebounds and assists. And before we move on, and those are our 2 family play picks, we have Van Lee in the comments. Shout out to Van Lee. He is always riding with us. Is Embiid playing? I actually don't know. I would assume he is. I haven't seen anything saying he's not. But keeping track of Embiid is a very interesting NBA storyline right now. He was not happy that all their meeting and their conversation and him getting called out was leaked. So I would be always looking at Embiid right now. If things keep going south in the 76ers, maybe he'll be available. But Ross, we're going to switch it back over to you. What is your next play for us?
Yeah, I'm looking at Twitter just quickly. I can't find anything on Embiid. So, I mean, unless they put it back-to-back, which I don't believe, I mean, I would assume he's going to play in a big game, in-season tournament game. They have to get a win. They're 2-12.
They have to.
I was talking to my other coaches at the high school, and it's they have like healthy, one of the best starting lineups. I mean, they have everything, and they're 2-12, and that's because they can't stay healthy, and that's the biggest thing.
I picked them to go to the finals.
Yeah, I thought they're going to be incredible this year, and just things haven't rolled that way. But let me jump into my pick. So again, I always talk about, I scroll through everything. I look up players' names. I really do it for like an hour because I want to find the best value. So I'm going to go with a young guy drafted this past year, plays for the Portland Trailblazers, and that is Donovan Clingan. So when you look it up, Major, you look at the points, rebounds, and assists, and that's what I'm taking. I'm taking the over, okay? Obviously, he's had sporadic, he's hit it in 3 of the last 4. But if you go out of this, you also can see that it's the same number, correct me if I'm wrong, for points and rebounds alone. And now, he's not a crazy assist guy. I was looking at some of the stats. There it is. Yeah, points and rebounds is the same number, okay? And do I think that he's going to go out and get 5 assists in this game? No. But he could go in a dribble handoff, and one of these guys could go up. Anthony Simons could go up and get a dribble handoff and get 1 assist, and that just boosts up just one of his extra points, rebounds, and assists. It's incredible, these kinds of lines, if you really look at it, and it's just the value. I love the points and rebounds alone. He has been very important for the Blazers. I think he's going to get a lot more playing time throughout the season. They're playing against the Rockets, where the Rockets don't have super big size, so Clean can come in, provide some extra size, grab some extra rebounds. They got Jabari Parker, Alperen Sengun. He's going to have to go out there and play some minutes. He does not start. He hasn't started in a little bit. I think he started about 4 games this season, if I was looking at it correctly earlier. He had 1 game with like 8 blocks I saw. That was incredible. I've never even seen that stat line for him. But I think the biggest thing for me is playing time. And so he played 31 minutes the other day, where it was a really good game for him. He went 17 and 12. A guy that's coming up young, that's where he had that big game against Minnesota. If he plays a lot of minutes in games, he's averaging about 21, 16 to 21 over the past 5. And then he had that big 31-point game, or minute game, excuse me. But I think this is going to be one of those games, again, in-season tournament. Coaches are going to be very much on the rotations, knowing what they want to do. I think they have a game plan. And like I said, Houston lacks a little bit of size. So I think that they could throw Clingan out there and they could really impact the game. I was going to take his blocks, but I just stuck with this. I think the points, rebounds, and assists is a nice line. And again, you get to add the assists for no extra. Like sometimes I'll take it if it's like a 1-point swing with a center. But this I thought was great. If he gets 2 assists, then you only need 13. So, I'm loving this line. Give me his over. Boost it up. I love this pick.
Yeah, anyone – that's crazy. I didn't notice that. Anyone just taking his points and rebounds is actually stupid because you get – like I said, yeah, I pulled up his assist while you were talking about it. He's got 1 assist in the past 5 games, but you can have a one-off game where you randomly get 3 assists. Like, that's a difference maker. Why would you not take an extra stat, like, for literally no extra charge? It's like if you go to a restaurant and they're like, hey, here's a free appetizer. You want to upgrade your fry for free? And you say no. Like, come on, just take the free stuff here. So he gets a dribble handoff here. I love that. I do love Clingan too. He is starting. I follow a lot of Blazers people because with the whole Dame saga, I became friends with some Blazers guys. A lot of them really like Clingan and think he's actually not surpassing Ayton, but earning a little bit more respect when Ayton's been a little bit faltering recently. But for my pick, I'm going to go over to a guy. I love his game. I love it. And if you know me, you're probably not surprised that I love Draymond Green when I talk about how much I love Ben Simmons and, even Bam and his defense and his versatility. Draymond Green is a very underrated player to the average fan. I'm going his over assist. It's 6 assists here. They're playing the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans still not fully healthy, still missing a lot of guys. Draymond, very consistent. He knows his role to a T. He sets up Curry, sets up Buddy. He sets up every other player on this team. The offense runs through Green. Yes, Curry's the number 1 guy, but Green is that number 2 guy in making their offense functional. And he does that by running it and setting up a lot of people. You see, this is hit 4 of the last 5, push that other time. Last game against Atlanta, he had 9 assists. OKC had 11. Then the Clippers and Memphis 7 and 7, and then Dallas was with 6 respectively. And kind of like you're saying, in season tournament, I think we have a lot of protection here because if Golden State, they're off to that hot start. Even if they start getting up by 15, even 20 sometimes, Green might play a little bit more than he would typically in this matchup. Plus, since they are missing some people, the Pelicans, and I do think Golden State's going to have a lot of opportunities to score some points. That game script also helps Draymond Green get his assist. He is always around this number. I know everyone likes making fun of him with the triple single and all that bull crap there that Barkley started, and Barkley, I bet, respects his game too. There's no way an all-time great doesn't respect someone that is this good at basketball. So it's fun to meme about. People like having fun, but Draymond Green is still a very good player, even though it's a little bit different. But his 6 assists has been a pretty solid line, so that is what I'm going with. Now, Ross, we'll kick it back to you. What is your third and final play today?
Yeah, so I do a lot of stats and I look up a bunch of stuff for this one, or for most of my picks. But this one is just, I'm doing it with my heart, man. There is a guy, Giannis, and his line actually went from 52.5 to 51.5. It's the point rebound assists. If you've watched any of the Bucks games over the past literally week, Giannis is doing everything he can by himself to make this team not lose. There was a point in time where I think 2 weeks ago where everybody was talking about, is Giannis going to get traded? What is going on with this team? Is Dame going to be staying in Milwaukee and Giannis coming to Miami? And Giannis has just flipped the switch, man. And he is such a great basketball player. He's one of those guys where, I'm just confident in this line. And it's a big line. It's 51.5. But they're also playing Indiana, a team they hate, in the in-season tournament. These in-season tournament games really ramp things up. And it's in the beginning, I didn't really feel it. What are they doing this for? Could cause injuries, guys. But it's made basketball so much fun on just random Tuesdays, random Thursdays, or random Fridays in November. I love the in-season tournament, especially for betting, because guys just ramp it up. It's the little bit of, you get the sneak peek of the playoffs, and Giannis is playing at a playoff level right now. He is doing absolutely everything he can to help his team win. I mean, he's doing everything. You see him flying on the floor. He's rebounding. He's getting the ball out. He's scoring. He's scoring 30-something points per game. His line for points is 32.5. I have not seen lines like that since Luka was popping off a couple of months ago. He is absolutely doing everything in his power for this team to win. And again, they got some checks they want to fill. They lost to the Pacers in the playoffs. They want their get back. And this is kind of where you figure that out in an in-season tournament. The lights are bright. Everybody's going to be probably watching this game tonight, unless you have a favorite team playing tonight. Give me Giannis's over. He is going to smash this line. It's going to be smashed. That's my prediction. Is he goes way over 60 plus. He's going to go off tonight.
Yeah, Giannis and Dame, I'll give it. They have turned that Bucks around. They're 4-1 in their last 5, if I believe right, and they are looking more like the team several of us thought they would be. And I love that you picked Giannis, and I set this up for my last pick. I'm actually doing a Lillard pick. So I was waiting until you threw out your Giannis so I could throw out my Lillard. But I'm not going to do one that a lot of people are expecting. Now, if you've heard me talk and you watch every Friday or Tuesday Major Money, you've heard me talk about it before, and you might not be too surprised. I'm actually going Damian Lillard for rebounds. Why? Because I think this is a really safe bet. And boy, I need some wins right now. And he's pushed 3 of the last 5, hit those other 2 times. But Ross, you talking about Giannis, set up my Damian Lillard pick. Pretty much everything I was going to say. They want to get this win. It's the in-season tournament. They have not done too hot recently. They need big wins in the NCAA tournament and the in-season tournament. They need to make statements. Lillard's going to play a lot of minutes. He's been playing phenomenal basketball as well. I think he's going to hit this. Indiana, still been a good offensive team, but I talked about it, I believe, when the Heat were playing the Pacers and I took a Tyler Hero prop. But the Pacers play fast. Good offense, but there are more opportunities for rebounds than even a standard NBA game. I think that helps with a guy like Damian Lillard that has shown he is willing to pitch in and do those things. And the fact of the matter is they need him to do it, and they need everyone to do all those little things based on how they're starting out right now. And they need to turn this around. They want vengeance for ending their season last year way earlier than it should have been. And yes, there were injuries and all that. Still, though, that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. And this is not just a regular season game. It means a little bit more. And so I like Damian Lillard over 4 rebounds. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to recap all of our picks and show you what, if you play them with Flex Friday, what you would be getting. So we're going to go back to college basketball, the most popular one. 1,000 of you already played it. It's probably because I mentioned it. But Cooper Flag, 11 rebounds and assists. Then we're going to hop over to get Ross's family play of Tatum. I believe it's 15 and a half rebounds and assists. And boy, you can play almost anything in the world for Tatum right now. He has so many props available. Then Ross has Donovan Clingan, 14 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. And remember, his points and rebounds is also 14 and a half. So if you were thinking about that, get extra value, adding on that extra stat of assists. And if he just gets a dribble handoff or anything like that, maybe he gets doubled and kicks it out. He can rack up and get better value there. And I'm going Draymond Green over 6 assists. Ross is then doing Giannis Antetokounmpo. I can't say people's names on Major Money, but Giannis, 51 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. And then Damian Lillard over 4 rebounds is the final one for me. If you play all of these and you use your $20 Flex Friday play, so Flex Friday, if you're not familiar, you get your money back if you lose, and it's even prorated. So for example, if only 4 of these 6 hit and you win 0.4 of your money back, so you like lose money, you get all the what you lost in promo funds too. So you're still not losing. But you'd get 25x. So $20 would turn into 500 if we both go 3-0 today. And that is the goal, as with every episode. But remember, lastly, when you play that and you sign up, play $5, get $50 instantly if you use the code 5. Don't forget about the DeMar DeRozan. You have 4 hours left to get that value if you like that line still. And then, as always, you got to take advantage of these free squares. Typically, they have around a $25 limit. So you can play $25 up to for Tyreek Hill value. You can play that all in one. If you have a prop you like it, you can play it with 1 prop, 4 prop. You can add it with 5 others to get extra value there. Or you can play $5 for 5 different ones if you just want to play it a little bit safer there. But don't forget about that. We will enjoy some great in-season tournament basketball tonight. We're hoping for some good games, some good college basketball games as the early season tournaments are going on. And we're going to steal some money from PrizePicks tonight. We're going to see y'all back next week for our next episode of Major Money as we recap and select our picks for that week. So y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next time.